Destruction is on the way, man. That lake of fire is right here.
You never know who we gonna have on here, man. But you can't expect Priest and Officer Kakungaba, man. He gonna be on here faithfully. The first woe was passed, the second woe passed, and the third woe coming quickly. You understand? They over there going nuts in the Middle East. And it's not gonna let up. We not here for your feelings. You understand me? So if you all in your feelings, you just such emotional person, man, you might want to tune in to Joel Osteen.
Seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Tell me we don't live in hell. My brother doing 55 in that cell. Nigga claiming he your round here spin shell. Same nigga you put on to hit the standing tail. How the fuck you turn your back on a nigga that love you? Treat your kids like my kids, treat you like a brother. I told my dog, let's leave the streets to serve the most high. He said, fuck that shit, he trying to sell another pot. His daddy killed him, put him in the trunk, set him on fire. His wife was pregnant, he ain't never get to see his child. Had me thinking to myself, what happened if I die? Look my babies in the eyes, I gotta stay alive. I put my ego on the shelf and my pride to the side. I'm with some niggas who gon' step and got God on their side. Got in the ISUPK, they keep asking me why. As I do the work of the Lord, I gotta stay alive. Face the east, pray alive. I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
You ever pump a pack with a snake by your side? Yes, I did. A man reach out to God before he died? Yes, I did. I know the Lord forgive us for these sins, but I'm starting to think the kingdom of heaven is for these kids. I told my daughter, there's one man in your bed, I won't stand for less. For my son, I hit your head on that fragile legs. I lost some niggas to that dope, I lost niggas to the feds. Remember Jono tried to stick me for that G's on that bread, yeah, I was thuggin' with Lucky and that nigga left me for dead. Endured to the end cause I listened to what was said. Mother told me she loved me when she was sick up in the bed. I was running them streets but the truth made me a man. Shit I don't really speak cause she'll never understand. That's why I ain't even tell her about these voices in my head. I'm still trying to manage my anger like Uncle Craig.
I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Fuck what them bitches gotta say. I'm a woman with a nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love fuck what them niggas gotta say. I'm a woman with a nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my my sisters, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm reeling them in, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the pistol. I get the order, be glad of this mission. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga. Training, put through the baddest conditions. I don't fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like Batman, niggas. She know I'm a prophet, she got to be listening. Disrespect, I ain't having that shit. Tell her go make some business from scratch. She bitching the different breed of black men. We don't do the back bend. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling dope to black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like, don't forget about my face. We standing up straight, can't fold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we sold you. You can take that to the bank, we focus on. How many times must we remind you? One body, one way, some rank. I will never take up as a place. When the law with you ain't no up next. It's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that. We with all that. The Lord called a nigga out the world. I responded and called back. Oh, Lord. And everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit. We want all that. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the commanding general, your honor, we unaffiliated with them. Like who they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. That's why we unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake niggas. We taking ground when we in your city. You better hide the women, hide the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't but the same. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in it with me. In the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Fucking Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We ain't just talking shit, but we living in it. We be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be fresh as hell, take a picture. And we professional with the scriptures. Play, we gon' script from yeah, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Swear business, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't get it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The slide that I know about is when I send with the gun, put the slide for real. I get the order, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die for real. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet up by me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got nines, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like bitch or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the commanding general, your honor, we unaffiliated with them. Like who they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all don't fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. Understand me like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Hey, that's why we unaffiliated with them, yeah. Oh!
$22.99, dirty cop. He gonna hook it up. Come on, Nakawar, hook me up. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Fuck wrong with you, boy.
John Diamond make the billion logo.
Crooked officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. Crooked officer, can you get the fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Beware, crooked cop badge number 2299. It's wicked as hell. Arresting a man for nothing, got him sitting in jail. Look down on us, call us niggas when they niggas themselves. Supposed to show them the way, instead they show them a cell. Fuck nigga, how the fuck is you a man of the Lord? You pull up with white boys and you put niggas in the back of the car, but you wouldn't last a day in their yard with all them killers, them lions and them tigers and them bears and them gorillas. Try to convince a nigga to snitch on his own brother. hustle like Groot. They undercover, so puss ass nigga. Regretting that bitch. Tell him take off that badge and I'll bat him in his shit. Cricket officer. Can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Be well, cricket cop badge number 2299. Cricket officer. Can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Be well, cricket cop badge number 2299. False doctrine, a nigga that shot that tranny. The dick pic, the fake pictures on social media. You posing as bitches. The murder on Joe Morgan, how her body came up missing. That scheming nigga cannot stealing that brother bitch. The marching for the rich, but don't do nothing for the poor. The shit them niggas tried on the Kansas City boat. Them purple niggas tried that same bullshit before. Cap told them bitch Obama holding treatment like a hoe. The shot told them they lightweight, they packed up all they shit. Fuck wrong with you, boy, we meant war around this bitch. Undercover ass, purple badge, and Easter ass bitch. We know cowards on the men prepared to die around this bitch. You heard? Cricket officer. Can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Be well, cricket cop badge number 2299. Cricket officer. Can you get these fucking handcuffs off for us? They got a lot of innocent niggas doing time. Be well, cricket cop badge number 2299.
You broke off and created something. God deserves that we stand with him and walk forward. ISUBK, be strong. We ain't weak. No cowards, bitch.
That's right, sir.
Okay? That's how we ride.
They did the same thing to my people. So that you said that they put millions of my actions. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never our home. Only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles are making it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cages, safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom, we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood cell. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. and sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cocktail. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Von Dale. Payback to bitch in his dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. Devils design fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I got you. Let it ride real quick. Look. The city eyes. It's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga. Cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, but tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation voltage you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times soon. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above average. Vince taste sweet, told him make me an apple tree. Left us in the valley full of bones. This where hope found. Java, come on here. Dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evanston with Mark Quad. Telling me how the crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Poke a stop, nigga. I lay that game down. I feel his pain cause nothing is the same now. Never light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas we bear arms like tarantulas. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really see profits under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty Diana. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo, spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride with Yara Down. Just left the state bridge, looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, yeah.
Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rebel, busy man, shit, nigga. They take their head over, nigga.
Red where Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no holder lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert. Another cop can stretch the nigga. He ain't demon, this an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that open blood, then you know I'm gonna get active with you. From the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spin, I ain't listening. Is in fact the fear. Revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jake. So Tower War, we gon' run the summer. It's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. As who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do baby. Bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand it. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real trigger know them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold nigga? When he says something, I ain't him. This shit like it ain't on who got the gun, it's on who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raise up the chain. Bring shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never break the hand and feet, so you'll never get that hand back. He bitching about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody won't be Richard Porter. God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow son. Yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my bread, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his gang, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Yo, clap it up. Shalom. Yahaba Shem Yahshua Barakatah, Yahal Shemal Thamba Shem Yahushua. It's Priest and Officer Kakunga Bar coming to you out of Iowa, ISUPK, established in 1969 underneath Commanding General Yohana. You understand? We are not affiliated with any other group. You know what I'm saying? This is One West since 1969. You dig? We is not affiliated with your other fake Israelite groups, with your Christian pastor groups, your Democratic parties, your Republican parties, your Black Panther parties, any of that. You dig? We are the home of the truth. Hey, Salakia had a late start. You know what I'm saying? The slave had me working a little later today. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. We in the building. If y'all could definitely hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Hit the share button. If y'all could, Baba Kasha, the water, you know what I'm saying? We're trying to get the algorithm up. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Right here in the Midwest, ISUPK, Iowa, because there is no truth here in Iowa besides right here in the UPK. You know what I mean? You want something, you want to see some changes, some progress, you got to bring yourself up into this school. You know what I mean? Because guess what? Your Christian pastors ain't doing it. That your church been there since before you was born, after you was born. And they stagnant. They doing the same old rhetoric. You know what I mean? They just pass it down to a new pastor, the son or the nephew, or they probably done switched up the whole administration. And it ain't nothing changed. It's the same old shit. Salakia. You know what I'm saying? But you see right here in the UPK, we growing like it's spreading like wildfire. This truth, like it says in the scripture, this truth the truth of the gospel shall be spread through the four corners of the earth, and then the end shall come. You understand? See, Christianity already been through the four corners of the earth, and the end is we still here. We still being oppressed. You know what I'm saying? We still at the first fire, the last hire. You know what I mean? We still getting the short end of the stick. They still telling us to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You know what I'm saying? The pastors are still wicked. You dig? Matter of fact, speaking of wicked pastors, your politicians is wicked. We're going to get into all that. You know what I mean? But definitely, once again, if you could hit the like button, hit the share button, and let's get into it. You know, of course, speaking of pastors, you know, and it's a damn shame, especially the so-called black churches. You know what I mean? We got and that they are the black church is supposed to be the cornerstone of empowerment when it comes down to the black community. You know what I mean? That's supposed to be who you go to for help, who you go to for guidance, you know what I'm saying, for counsel, marriage counsel, everything. You know what I mean? Nowadays, you go to marriage counsel, and guess what? Your pastor, he gonna be trying to get your wife from underneath your nose. You know what I mean? Your kid's doing bad in school. You know what? And you try to give him a mentor, and the pastor's gonna try to sleep with your son. You know what I'm saying? Like Cleflo Dollar, I think it was, or Eddie Long, all of them. You know what I'm saying? You try to go to them, you for support, they gonna take all your money. You know what I mean? And just like the government, you know what I mean? They are a product of them of who they follow, which is the American government. But yeah, so something recently that just happened was right here. Let's get it. Fair use. We're using this for educational purposes. But matter of fact, let me just read the article first, and then we'll get into it. Let me see if this is it. I think this is it. Salaki. Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. Trying to pull up the article. You know what I mean? I hope everybody had a good weekend. You know what I'm saying? We coming up on the Feast of Dedication. Yeah, so right here, let's read the article. Where we at? Share my screen. Share my screen. Let me blow it up so y'all can read it. So it says right here, Pastor James Stockton is charged with a felony count of arranging a meeting with a minor for lewd purposes. The 54-year-old has pleaded not guilty. The sting was carried out by an online citizen group called Caught Fished, founded by Antoine, who says the group chats with adults who believe they are communicating with the minor for the purposes of sexual encounter. So this, you know what I'm saying? This food done got popped. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much there's like a social media cat. You know what I'm saying? He created a group called well, there's an online group, like a dating site. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to remember the name of the dude. He got this thing pretty much where they purposely go around pretending to be, No, I don't think so. But they go around pretending to be young boys, young girls, where they're like, you know what I'm saying, not 18, but like 15, 16. And pretty much this pastor fell for the okie doke. You know what I mean? And who knows, whenever these people do these things, Like I know y'all probably seen them online where they meet him at Walmart. You know what I mean? They see him at Walmart and they get him there and they like, oh, so what you doing here? What you doing here? Lo and behold, whole time they coming to meet up with a young someone who they thought was younger online. You know, they done did all the texting. They seen all your texts talk about, oh, we're gonna be, I'm gonna take it easy on you, this and that, and you still meet up with these mugs. You know what I mean? Just sexual deviance. You dig? And it says, yeah, so they said that he was meeting up for a sexual encounter, right? And then reading on, it says, these are the ones that we trust, and we should be able to trust him with our kids, Antoine said. According to Antoine, Stockton very well knew he was communicating with someone claiming to be 16 years old. The group released what they say are text exchanges between Stockton and the decoy, including a message where Stockton appears to send a selfie and ask, what time you get out of school today? So you sending selfies knowing that the kids in school and you asking them what time you get out of school. Good night. You know what I'm saying? And another message, he allegedly writes, I promise to be gentle and make sure you are enjoying it. Then he says that the messages became graphic. He got into the nasty part that no pastor should be talking about. Antoine said, describing the explicit comments Stockton allegedly sent. It says, when Stockton arrived to meet the decoy who had identified himself as a 16-year-old, he told the group on camera after realizing there had been a sting operation. What'd he say? He says this. He says, I was hoping and praying that it was somebody older. How you was praying? Hoping and praying. And then first of all, you hoping and praying that somebody older, you knew they wasn't older. You know what I mean? But let alone that you was hoping and praying that it was someone older, you still was meeting with a young man. It don't matter if he was a 45-year-old man. You know what I mean? In the scriptures, it tells you that a man shall not lie with mankind. You know what I mean? Let's just get that real quick. Yeah, go ahead.
So it's adding on, or just kind of hit where you're going. It's diabolical that he thought that praying that God was someone that he should confide in to get an older man. Like, right. That he thought that was a message that God would want to even hear. To right. Pray for it.
Exactly. And matter of fact, there's another scripture, if you could look it up, where it says that he doesn't hear the prayers of the sinner pretty much. You know what I mean? So let's go over here to the book of Romans chapter 1 and verse 11. Oh, never mind. Hold on, Salaki. Not 11. Yeah, verse 24, Salaki, 1 and 24. And it says what? It says, wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. You know what I'm saying? Who changed the truth of God into a lie? You know what I'm saying? So you didn't change the truth of God into a lie, and you going out here for your own lust. You out here on these dating sites called Cotfished. That just sounds like a setup. Like, why would you get on a website called Cotfished? You know what I mean? And reading on, let's get to the main point, Salaki, for time's sake, because I know we started off late. And it says, verse 26, for this cause God gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burning in their lusts, one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly. So yeah, this pastor, he's burning in his lust, and he's out here trying to entice young men to be with him, which is a goddamn shame. You know what I'm saying? So let's just listen to the clip. I want to see if this is the clip. I'm not sure if it is, but let's just find out. Fair use once again.
Faith Church is in shock tonight. Its senior pastor, James Stockton, has been charged with trying to meet a teen boy for sex. Police say he was caught in an online sting by a citizen group posing as that teenager. Fox 11's Gina Silva, live in Torrance with details. Gina.
Well, Christine, people here in Torrance, people who know the pastor, they are in shock. And they tell me they're struggling to understand the criminal charge against him.
My soul cries out, hallelujah! I thank God for saving me.
A self-proclaimed man of God goes from the pulpit to a public walk of shame, to a courtroom to face serious allegations involving a minor.
Sir, is your true and correct name James David Stockton III? Yes.
54-year-old James Stockton, a senior pastor at the South Bay Church of God, is facing a felony charge of arranging a meeting with a minor for lewd purposes. He pled not guilty.
There is no actual victim.
These are the ones that we trust, and we should be able to trust them with our kids.
Antoine is the founder of an online citizen group called Codfished. Members chat with adults who believe they're talking with a minor for the purpose of a sexual encounter.
So he very well knew that he was talking to somebody underage.
These are the text exchanges allegedly between Pastor Stockton and the person pretending to be a 16-year-old boy. In this one, Stockton appears to send a selfie asking what time you get out of school today. Here, Stockton allegedly texted, I promise to be gentle and make sure you are enjoying it.
The nasty part that no pastor should even be talking about, but he got to saying that he wanted to the boys.
On the day Stockton met up with the decoy who said he was 16, the pastor had this to say.
Actually, I was hoping and praying that it was somebody older.
Senior pastor of South Bay Church of God here in the beautiful city of Torrance, California.
At South Bay Church of God in Torrance, no one would go on camera.
We don't know anything other than what we see on the video. Nothing. We don't know. It was a shock to us as everybody else.
Absolutely. Stockton is all.
Yeah, and so, yeah, there you have it. And the sad part is, though, he might not even get charged. Because little do people know, because the white man is a sexual deviant, consent is, they done lowered the consent all over the damn place. You know, so they should have decoyed him as being 15. Matter of fact, where is South Bay? I'm assuming that's in where is that? That gotta be in California, right? No, that's Florida. So let's look up the Florida's legal age of consent. Let's look it up. Oh, yeah, so it's 18 there. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, okay, so it's because I think in Iowa it's really low. So yeah, Florida is 18. See, here in Iowa, good night. It's 16 years old. Iowa is full of predators. So if you could be a 50-year-old man and get with a 16-year-old, and it's cool. But Iowa's not the only one that's like that, though. You know what I'm saying? And it don't even matter if it's legal by the state. It should be illegal altogether because a 60-year-old doesn't have the mind capacity to actually consent, especially to some old 50-year-old, 54-year-old man. You know what I mean? But he's cooked. Now, if he was in Iowa, he'd be able to get off. That's why there's a lot of sexual PDF files here in Iowa that be getting off of that shit. You know what I mean? And like me and Officer Malott, we did a whole 4-part series on this shit because it's embedded into the religion. Christianity, which stems from Catholicism, you know what I mean, is a major proponent to the abuse of children. You know what I mean? Whether if it's a young boy or a young woman. You know what I'm saying? It's just a damn shame. And you know what I'm saying? That pastor needs to be thrown down. He needs to give up his whole congregation. And guess what? Everybody who followed that man needs to come into the ISUPK. Every Christian, black Christian church that's predominantly black, they need to just go ahead and hand the keys over to Commanding General Yohana. And then guess what? Your kids won't be getting fondled with and predatorized. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, it goes down from your Christian pastors all the way up to your politicians. Your politicians are going to do the same thing. We just brought out the other day how the judge was in a ring full of he had a whole bunch of unsolicited what's it called, child pornography. Matter of fact, let me just get that one more time. Yeah, the whole judge. Yeah, and these people, they just sick in the head, man. The whole head is sick. You know what I'm saying? I think this is it. Well, this ain't the video. I wanted the video. Salakia. Yeah, here we go, right here. The whole judge.
Charleston County judge is preparing to spend the next several nights in the same jail where he sentenced defendants to serve time. James Gosnell Jr. is charged with possessing child sex abuse materials. Our Emily Deanne was in federal court this morning. She shares the chilling details of the case and what's next.
James Gosnell Jr. appeared in a familiar place, the courtroom, but this time as the defendant. The now suspended magistrate judge faces serious charges. If convicted, he could spend several years behind bars. Federal authorities arrested the 68-year-old at his Charleston home yesterday. This investigation started thanks to a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Investigators traced Gosnell's actions to online payments made in November of 2024, which links Gosnell's phone number, email, and home address. A search of his home revealed the most chilling details, multiple videos and images of child sex abuse, including content involving infants and toddlers. U.S. District Judge Molly Cherry did not grant bond today.
Damn, infants and toddlers, that's below diabolical. Like, all of it is anything under the age of 21. You know what I mean? Trying to deal with anyone on that matter is diabolical. But you know what I mean? You out here trying to get you got explicit videos and pictures and content of toddlers? Like, what kind of sick bastard are you, man? You know what I mean? But this is America. And that's because this is what America was built upon, the great rob and unaliving of the Lord's chosen people. You know what I mean? All the way up when the first so-called colonizers that came here, which allegedly was Christopher Columbus, I'm pretty sure he was doing the same thing. You know what I mean? The Catholic Church, they've been doing this for centuries. You know what I mean? And it goes down to the fact that, guess what? We have to follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And if we don't follow that God, you're going to be, what does he say? Let's go back. Because you have not the love of the truth, you shall believe a lie. But let's go back to this. Romans chapter 1. And it says, for this cause, he gave them up to these vile affections. You understand? For even the women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. Also, likewise, the men. So the men, because you don't want to have the love of God, the truth in your heart, the Lord then gave you up to this vile affection. You know what I'm saying? You left the natural use of a woman. You know what I mean? And what's the natural use of a woman is you getting a woman of age who's mature, so you and her could two flesh become one. Have children, raise them right, have a family. You know what I'm saying? But no, what does it say? You left the natural use of the woman and you burn in your lust one towards another, men with men, that which is unseemly. You understand? And that's what, like, for example, what's another major topic going on is this, even though we've been talking about P. Diddy, but now they got the documentary out. You know what I mean? I haven't watched it all or none of that, but we already know what it's about. You know what I'm saying? And then certain people got the nerve to speak about, like, who was it? Marlon Wayans. Matter of fact, let's get his little clip. Yeah. Let's see. Let's just hear what he said, bro. He was on. So Marlon Wayans was just on the Breakfast Club not long ago, and he had a couple comments. You know what I'm saying? And of course, it was diabolical.
So real quick, before I get to the top,
by the way,
one thing that you don't say to Busta Rhymes, I do want to shout out Kaylani. I saw her reposting our interview yesterday that she did appear on the Breakfast Club, and she was talking about how it is one of the best interviews that she's done. She said, I think this is one of my best interviews I've done in ages.
Let me find the exact clip. Is this it? I don't even think this is the clip that I wanted. Nah. Actually, I don't even know if he was on the Breakfast Club when he said his statement. I think he was on another but let me just let me see if this is it. We don't want nobody else. I don't want nobody else's commentary. I'm doing the commentary. You want Cucumber Bar's reaction, not Jamal. You know what I mean? Let me see if this is it. I just want the actual footage. I don't need.
Puff is,
Nah. You working with
I've known
Pop?
Puff for 30 years.
You saw Big before he passed?
Yeah.
Bro, so you're close. And Jack, what were you saying?
In the documentary, there was insinuations of, that Diddy possibly had something to do with both Tupac and Biggie. And,
who's telling the story, right? You can skew
people very close to the situation.
But you can create any narrative as a producer and as a director and as a storyteller. I can create a narrative. I could be like, you know what?
You have.
I could create a narrative.
Well,
I could be
we see it all the time on reality shows. Like, reality shows.
Yeah,
that's how
you're
you write a
narrative. It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's true. I can get interviews. I can do this. I can get footage, and I could make you think this about that person.
Nah, for sure. Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So for me, I think, look, 50 and Puff have a long-term beef. It's personal.
People are saying 50's wrong for doing it, but 50's right for doing it. It's divided.
It's between him and Puff. And before it's between him and Puff, it's between both of them and God. Just the way Puff is down on his luck and 50's kicking a man when he's down.
God is going to.
If 50 ever luck turn up on 50, that you got to be careful what you put out. There's a karma to every action that you do.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, so pretty much he's pretty much saying that 50 Cent shouldn't even be speaking on Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Now, listen, all of y'all Hollywood entertainers are wicked. You know what I mean? Even you, Marlon Wayans. You know what I'm saying? You out here. I done seen Marlon Wayans in a stand-up before, and that nigga's LBGT. He stands up for his LBGT daughter or son or whatever he is, and he stands for the LBGT community. Listen, the men of God, we're gonna call you out from the jump. You know what I mean? And for anybody to sit there and try to back up Diddy or any wickedness is you a coon. Because really it's not about who's right and wrong. Really, it's just about you protecting the bag. You know what I mean? Because you back up your wicked ass son or your daughter, whoever it is, as LBGT, because you know why? You don't want to talk bad against the fact that that goes against the Most High God. And you know why? Because if you did, you know that you won't get the certain support. You're gonna get cut off. You know what I mean? Your funds you might get what they call blacklisted. You know what I mean? So that's what you scared of. You scared of losing your bag. You know what I'm saying? When in reality, everything done in the dark is gonna come to the light, and it should be talked about. Now, is 50 the main proponent of who should be talking about it? No, because like the scripture says, is what does it say? Cast out the own mote out of your eye. You know what I mean? Before you talk about the beam in your brother's eye. You know what I mean? Now, I'm sure 50 Cent got, he got a dark history. Now, who knows if he might be repentant, you know what I mean? But 50 Cent, he don't give a damn. We know he's been in the streets. He done lived a life of murder, sex crimes, and all, and crime and all that, drug dealing, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if he changed his life up, that's no sweat. But don't talk about a man and then still be doing the same thing. But also, it's not like that we can't point out what's going on. You know what I mean? Because really, Diddy, he's not even, he's really got off light. He got a slap on the wrist. You know what I mean? From all the shit that he's been a part of, whether we know about it or not, well, he got about 3 years. That ain't nothing. He got bread. He's sitting in there comfortable. He getting out in a few years, and he's going to come back. And guess what? He's going to be doing the same thing. What's he going to do? He's going to return right back to his own vomit. You know what I mean? He's not going to change. And that's because, guess what? He didn't get judged right away. He didn't get the full punishment of judgment that he should have got. So when you don't get the full punishment, you're like, well, guess what? I could just keep doing the same thing because that's all I get. What, 3 years? Oh man. And listen, he done whooped her up on camera, whooped Shorty up on camera. He done been a part of this scandal, that scandal. He done had all the women in the world, all the sexcapades and the Diddy parties and the grooming and this and this and that. Diddy gonna keep doing the same thing. Matter of fact, he's probably in jail having Diddy parties in jail. Look, they listen, they in there with Diddy. So you know he got money. He probably done snuck some shit in. He done did this, he done did that. Listen, like Commander, not Commander General, like General Hyman says, listen, it's the government that's at it, because if they didn't want drugs in the country or anywhere, they would not have it so. But it's the people, it's the administrations and the principalities that are at hand that allows everything to keep working. So just like in prison, there's still weed in prison. So it don't matter. You could be on 24-hour lockdown, you know what I mean? But guess what? There's still weed in prison. Women still get pregnant in prison. Men still get women pregnant. It's still going on. So it don't matter if you got a lockdown system or not. It's the people that's running it. And Diddy is just like the people that run it. All your politicians, your pastors, all of that. That's why you still got these pastors out here going online, enticing young boys as they think they doing. But just imagine all the ones that get away with it. That's the part you got to really put in your head. All the shit that's going on that people are really getting away with it shit. This is just the ones that we hear about because of technology. You know what I mean? Because we got cameras, technology, et cetera, et cetera. So now you're going to see it. But at one point in time, you wasn't able to see all that. You know what I mean? So they're going to continue to keep doing it. And when it comes down to black folks, you still going to get the short end of the stick. No matter what. You're going to always... You can't be like your oppressor, man. Even not thou the oppressor and choose none of their ways. You know what I mean? Because all that party, doing all them different freaky deaky parties, that goes back to the Romans. You know what I'm saying? The Romans used to have big freaky orgy parties. Let me see. Let's look it up. Yeah, like what's that what like what's it called from Saturnalia, I think it is, where Valentine's come from. You know what I'm saying? Valentine's Day was Saturnalia, if I'm not mistaken. And that's what all that comes from. They would have like the men would go out, you know what I'm saying? No, it's called Lupercalia. Saturnalia was like Christmas. You know what I'm saying? But they would go around and they would just run around the streets naked and then pick the woman who they wanted. You know what I mean? Let me see if this is it. Yeah, right here. Roman celebrations were violent. From February 13th to 15th, the Romans celebrated the feast. Hold on, let me share the screen. Celebrated the feast of Lupercalia. The men would sacrifice a goat and a dog, then whip the women with the hides of the animals they had just slain. So Diddy, he's all about beating up his women, beating them up, forcing them into sexual lewd acts. You know what I mean? This is what and you know, he's learned this from somewhere. And it says what? The Roman romantics were drunk. They were naked. Now a religious studies professor at Yale University told NPR in 2011, young women would line up for the men to hit them. Linsky said they believed this would make them fertile. So they would be like drunk, lined up, butt naked. That sounds like a Diddy party. And it's a festival. So, you know, there's music, there's food, there's feasting. And guess what? The women would line up, and who knows what else they was doing. You know, some of them old ancient drugs like shrooms and shit's been around since God knows when. You know what I mean? Different type of witchcraft. It's called witchcraft. And they would do all types of sexual deviancies. And it says, hold on. Where we at? Yeah, it says the brutal feat included a matchmaking lottery in which young men drew the names of women from a jar. The couple would then be coupled up for the duration of the festival. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you go to the party and you just pick a woman. Then you go in there and then you just, like I said, that's like a Diddy party. And this is from our oppressor, the Romans. Who are the Romans? The Edomites. You understand? So there's nothing new under the sun, people. He learned this from learned behavior. His mom used to do the same thing. She would have parties at the crib, the stage in the crib, strippers probably, all that drug dealing lifestyle, you know what I mean? All that. You know what I mean? But Diddy took it to a whole nother level. Straight up. He took it to a whole nother level. And you never know, when you get money and time, you start reading and researching. He probably wanted to mimic all this shit. You know what I mean? It says the ancient Romans may also be responsible for the name of our modern day love. Emperor Claudius II executed 2 women, both named Valentine, on February 14th of different years in the 3rd century. And what is this? It says their martyrdom is honored by who? The Catholic Church. You know what I mean? So this shit goes down all the way to your Christianity. That's that Christian spirit. And guess what happens? Every time when P. Diddy wins a award, or any of these rappers, who do they think? They swear they thank God. You know what I mean? When in reality, God didn't have shit to do with it. At least not the God of the Bible, not the God of eight. You know who their God is? Here, I'm gonna show you. Let's go over here to the book of Matthew. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24. Yeah, Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24. Let's break it down. Where we at? Where we at? Here we go. And it says what? Now, this is the God of the pastors. This is the God of your politicians. This is the God of your entertainers. This is their God. And it says right here, it says what? No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he would hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve the Most High and mammon. What is mammon? Mammon is money. You understand? See, these entertainers, these politicians, these politicians and these entertainers and these pastors and so-called fake religions, their God is mammon. That's who they serve. They serve, I don't give a damn if you're in Buddhist temple, if you're in the synagogue, if you're in the Islamic temple or the Muslim mosque. Guess what? Or the Christian church, the Apostolic Baptist Zion Church on the hill. Your God is mammon. That's who you serve. You don't serve the Most High God. Because if you did, guess what? You would be following the law, statutes, and commandments. You would be showing brotherhood and sisterhood. That's what you would be doing. No, but guess what? You serve mammon. That's what you serve. So Pastor, what's his name? That we was just talking about down in Florida. Yeah, you serve mammon. P. Diddy, you serve mammon. Judge Jenkins, you serve mammon. None of y'all serve the Most High God of the Bible. You politicians out there, you serve mammon. Which brings me to more politicians. What's her name? So recently, out in Minneapolis, you've had a big old scandal. So the Minneapolis senator, what's her name? Let's go. Let's get it. What's her name? Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar. She's a Minneapolis politician. And it says, what did Ilhan Omar know about the $1 billion welfare fraud case in Minnesota district? Good night. You know what I mean? So in Minnesota, so Ilhan Omar, she's a Somalian. You know what I mean? And in Minneapolis, these so let me quantify this more better. So America, when it comes down to these immigrants, they send these immigrants in specific locations. So like, for example, maybe in like DC, they might put a whole bunch of Afghanis in certain areas. And then over in Omaha, they might put a whole bunch of Sudanese. And in Minneapolis, they'll put a whole bunch of Somalians and Ethiopians go to Minnesota. It's like a big influx. Like they're strategically placed in all these different areas. You know what I mean? So Minneapolis has a high volume population of Somalians. So in Minneapolis, you know what I mean? All these Somalians, they done did welfare fraud, the biggest welfare fraud you could ever think of in U.S. history. Even bigger than, they done beat Brett Favre. Remember Brett Favre? Brett Favre just did a big old scandal, a welfare scandal. You know what I mean? Down in, what was it, Mississippi or whatever state it was. You know what I mean? But these mugs, they done took the buck. These heathens. You know what I mean? Because this is what they do. They all come to America. And they leech off of all the blood, sweat, and tears that our forefathers did when it comes down to the civil rights movement and all that. So all the things that was signed over, you know what I'm saying, for the civil rights movement and different minority fundings, these people have came in and they milking it dry. You know what I'm saying? But the so-called white man, being the devil that he is, they literally allow it because they rather the other nations to get access to this money than you having it. Because they know if we get the money, then we could better galvanize ourselves to become a more of a public figures and have better neighborhoods and better schooling and our own communities. You know what I mean? So they'd rather keep us at the bottom. But this is all the curses. This is all the curses of being an Israelite. Because why? Because we don't follow the Most High God in totality as a people. You know who we rather follow? We rather follow Pastor Jenkins and preacher so-and-so and P. Diddy's, your 50 Cent's, your Jay-Z's. We rather follow the NBA young boys, what was Beyonce's, you know, your Real Housewives, your baddies girls. This is who we think is leading us. You know what I'm saying? Instead of real men of the Lord who's going to give you proper counsel as a nation on how we can properly channel our economic stature. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, speaking of, what's his name? What's dude that pastor again? I think I skipped out of it. Let me go back. Yeah, because Pastor so-and-so, he was also he was a former president of the NAACP. And what is the NAACP? It's supposed to be one of our leaders of the so-called black people. You know what I'm saying? I can't see it. I can't find it right away because I clicked out of it. But that pastor who was trying to get with that young man, he was a former leader of the NAACP. You know what I'm saying? So we have looked for a nation that cannot save us. And these is one of them peoples. Because she got her head wrapped and they're Muslims and this and this and that. They think that people look at that Muslim shit like they holier than thou. When they over here robbing you, you know what I'm saying? They robbing the black community. It says right here, it says Omar held parties at one of the key restaurants named in the fraud. Knew one of his now convicted owners, and one of her own staffers has also been convicted, both for stealing millions. You understand? So they was stealing millions of dollars for taking money from after, what was it, from the what you call it, the COVID, all that COVID relief money. They was taking a lot of that, and then they was also taking a lot of money from what they call it, autism. They was taking a lot of autism money. It says Omar even introduced a bill that led to the $250 million in fraud. But she claims that she was unaware of it. So she introduced the bill, and then she took the money from the bill that she introduced. It says, Omar knew who these people were. People who personally knew were making tens of millions of dollars in the program. A policy fellow with Minnesota-based Center of American Experiment to the Post. Let's go down. Let me see. Yeah, see these Somalians, they come here and they don't give a damn about you. They're Hamites. So they leave from dirty ass Somalia, where you remember them videos back in the day where they would have like, oh, feed this kid for 2 cents a day. You know what I mean? Like, oh, please help $1. That's just $1 a week. You know what I mean? Or whatever. They come from them areas where they had the flies, all the most sentimental videos, the big stomachs and shit. And then they would come over here and then give them all the money, all the resources, everything. And just like the East Indians, East India is a dirty ass country. But then they come over here and they act like they better than you. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that I'll say about them is that makes me envious. You know, like the Lord said, he will provoke you to jealousy with a people who are not a people. And because one thing that these people do is they stick together. They move over here, they keep their little fake culture, and they don't fuck with you. Unless to the point where they get so Americanized, then it's different. But overall, listen, they don't fuck with you, nigga. It don't matter if you black or not. What's up with all that Africa talk, especially from you so-called blackity black conscious community niggas. When have you ever seen the Africans come together? The Africans don't even come together, let alone us trying to join with the Africans. You know what I mean? They come over here and then they milk you dry. They use your benefits. They try to be cool, act like it's this blackity black. And at the end of the day, they taking all your money. They running up your neighborhood. Then next thing you know, guess what? They're owning all the liquor stores. They're owning all the gas stations. They're owning all the hotels, all the businesses that we should be owning. But the white man, they purposely bring, which is kind of an oxymoron, that now you want to deport all these people. You want to deport all the immigrants. You know what I mean? But then let's just say you did deport all the immigrants. Then who's going to be left? The niggas. Because at one point in time, that's all it was. It was white people, niggas, and Native Americans. Wasn't no Chinese people. It wasn't no Arabs. It was just us. So if it would have still been us, guess who would be owning all the shit that y'all own? Us. But listen, that's a curse. So let's get that over here in the book of Deuteronomy. See, and that's why it behooves us to come back to these law, statutes, and commandments, man. So we don't got to deal with these Somalians, these Ethiopians, all that coming over here and being wicked politicians and getting all your money. You know what I mean? Let's get this. Where we at? Let me see. Let's go over here to the book of Deuteronomy. Let me see what verse I want to do. Salakia. I'm pretty sure you already know which one I want. Where we at? Where we at? Salakia, bear with me. Yeah, here we go. Verse 43. So this is some of the curses that will come upon us because we didn't listen to the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we got to bring out Deuteronomy 28 like clockwork because this is the bedrock of how to prove who the children of Israel are. You know what I mean? So the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 43. And it says, and the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. See, when these other nations come into America, like we've been here for 400 years, literally, plus. But guess what? Habibi and them, they get over here. They've only been here for what? A generation. And next thing you know, all their family guys, all the BPs, all the Wyndhams. Like, how come on, man? Just make that make sense. You think that's because we just that fucked up? No, man, this is by design. This is by design that these other nations, what does it say? They become very high and you should be very low. This is purposely by design. I pray you understand, man. And that's why the Lord says, gather yourselves together, O nation, not desire. We are the nation that's not desired. You know what I mean? Because these other nations, they're going to keep coming over here, and the Trump and them, they worried about the wrong immigrants. See, the whole plight was to come against the so-called Mexicans, Issachar, and your Caribbeans and et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm saying? The whole time, who's the ones doing all the shit? And they said this is the biggest scandal, welfare fraud in American history. $1 billion worth of American welfare fraud. Like, come on. And they called us the welfare queens and kings. I think before this, it might have been Brett Favre and them. You know what I mean? So we get up very low, they get up very high. You know what I mean? And that's why it's time. And then what's another thing they said she did? She married her own brother. So to get her little citizenship, hold on, let me get that. What's her name? Ilhan. Ooh. Ilhan Omar. Yeah, so now did she actually have sex with her? I mean, with her brother? You know what I'm saying? I don't know about all that, but she married her own brother. Let me see if I can find now, of course, this is just more and more things about all this deportations and illegal immigrants. You know what I mean? Of course, they could be trying to make a big old thing about it because, you know what I'm saying, is they trying to put an eye on immigration, but
and other Muslim members of Congress held a news conference to speak out against Islamophobic behavior, including recent comments from Colorado Republican Representative Lauren Boebert in a video suggesting that Representative Omar was once mistaken as a terrorist on Capitol Hill. This is Half an Hour.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Thank you to, we've been joined by Congressman Bowman from New York. Thank you, sir. First and foremost, I want to commend my amazing colleagues, Representatives Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. You know, they're the definition of bravery, perseverance, dedication to their constituents.
Damn, Lucky. I wonder how long I ain't had no sound. Good night. I don't even know how long it was. But yeah, so Ilhan Omar, she married her own brother to get U.S. citizenship. She's a Muslim. It's Salami. She's a Muslim Salami immigrant. You know what I mean? And they just been a part of this $1 billion scandal. Cause them Somalians, listen, they don't give a damn about you black folks. You know, and for all you dumb niggas out there that claim to be we're African and Africa this, Africa that, they don't give a damn about you. You know what I'm saying? Them Africans could care less about trying to join with you. They over here getting bread. You know what I mean? They getting bread from you with the little head wraps on and et cetera, claiming that it's all about God, Allah. Nah, they don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? The East Indians do the same thing. Even though they all serve different gods. That's why it behooves us to come back to our God. Because guess what? What does it say? The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and we shall come down very low. We've been here for 500 years, and all of a sudden, they get here in the last 30, 40 years, and now they owners of all the BPs and everything else. So yeah, like I said, man, these politicians, these so-called Christian pastors, and the celebrities, they're not going to give you the knowledge and the know-how to combat against the wiles of the devil. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to do that for you right here in the UPK. You understand? Because guess what? All these other nations, their God is money at the end of the day. You can't serve God and mammon. You know what I mean? That's America's God. What does it say on the dollar bill? In God we trust. What's the God of America? Money. They ain't talking about the Most High God, Yahweh. No, the God who they trust in is the money God. That's exactly who they trust in. But guess what? America's about to be destroyed. The Third World War is building up. You know what I mean? Hey, Putin, he's ready. Putin's ready. You got Donald Trump down there blowing up random boats in the goddamn Caribbean Sea. You know what I mean? And they're pretty much like, that's just a smoke screen. Because what I bring out last week, that's because Venezuela has the biggest oil supply in the goddamn planet. That's why they doing all that. It's not because of drugs. Listen, America been selling drugs. The white man is the biggest drug dealer. Look, let's look. They've been selling drugs since the 1800s. Let's go back all the way to the Opium Wars. For crying out loud. Right here. Just Google it. Or go read a book. Opium Wars. Let's get it. And what is opium? Opium is a plant that makes heroin. You know what I'm saying? Not cocaine, that rhyme. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest drug. That's why they invaded Afghanistan, because Afghanistan got one of the largest supplies of poppy fields. You understand? So let's go right here. It says, I bring this out. I brought this out before. It says, the Opium Wars simplified the Chinese. Oh no, we don't need to read that. Were two conflicts waged between the Qing dynasty and the Western powers. Who are the Western powers? That's white people. Whenever you hear Western powers, it's talking about the white man. You know what I mean? And it says, the first Opium War was fought between 1839 to 1842 between the China and British Empire. It was triggered by the King's government's campaign to enforce its prohibition of opium. So the white man, they down there with the British East India. Who's the other people we were just talking about? The East Indians. So they was trying to push the heroin. And the Chinese went against it. So listen, don't let them act like it's a war on drugs. They always is for drugs. They're pro-drugs. That's why it's called what now? It's called the opium epidemic. And really, that's just a new phraseology because it's the 21st century. When in reality, they've been selling cocaine, they've been selling heroin and opiums. It ain't nothing new under the sun. They claim they blowing up this because they don't want drugs in the community. Man, they don't give a damn about that. They making drugs right here in the United States. Why do you think they legalized marijuana everywhere? If they were so against drugs, why is everybody, it's in damn near every state you could get high now? Nah, they just want to make the money. Just like how it was during a prohibition. Prohibition, they illegalized alcohol until they had the monopoly on it and their control to tax it. Then they're like, okay, we got control. Now everybody can sell alcohol. In the Southeast region, only one store they got a monopoly of it down there. It's called ABC. If you don't got an ABC, you ain't selling real alcohol. You know what I mean? So now they could tax you for your weed. Now you can go open up a dispensary and get high until the sun falls down. You know what I'm saying? Until Christ comes back. They don't give a damn. Straight up. But yeah, man, listen, it's time for us to come together, oh nation not desire, because these other nations, They'll come in here, they'll use all your resources, they'll get all the money, you know what I mean? And you'll be left hang dry. They taking up the money for autism, for any kind of relief that the Black community has. And there's a lot of things in writing that we can use, but guess what? They'd rather give it to the other nations. You know what I'm saying? That's why they want to quiet brothers who are in the UPK. They want to blacklist you and what they shadow ban you. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that if we come together as a people underneath our God, we will be up very, very high. And we will be the most sought after nation. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's Bible prophecy, baby. You can't stop this shit. You understand? We're going to be the rulers of the entire planet. You know what I mean? You can't stop it, Esau. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. And guess what? The Lord's going to come and destroy this nation, as thus saith the Lord, with fire and brimstone. Straight up. And with that, man, you know, if anybody got any questions, you could definitely ask at any time. But we started off late, but we're going to still end on time. You understand? We usually end around 9 o'clock. So that's how we're going. And but definitely check us out tomorrow, same time, same channel, for law class, Wednesday night law class, where we break down everything precept upon precept, line upon line. You know what I'm saying? So we could break it down to you how it needs to be broke down. Don't listen to these Christian pastors, because they out here on these websites trying to pick up little boys and little girls. Don't listen to your politicians, because all they're going to do is just try to milk you dry of all your money. You understand? And don't listen to your celebrities either, because they just going to throw parties and drug you up. And next thing you know, you wake up with your backside feeling funny. You know what I mean? Pause. But with that, Israel, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakathum, Yahweh Shema Thum Bashim Yahweh Shah. Shalom. So that we're lost.
Go ahead, though. Run it back.
Yeah, so we got heavy content with Officer Design and Officer Kakam, you know what I'm saying, on Tuesdays. We get that going on, you know what I'm saying.
Destruction is on the way, man. That lake of fire is right here. You never know who we gonna have on here, man. But you
Never know.
You can't expect Priest and Officer Kakungaba, man. He gonna be on here faithfully.
The first woe was passed, the second woe passed, and the third woe coming quickly. You understand? They over there going nuts in the Middle East. And it's not gonna let up.
We not here for your feelings. You understand me? So if you all in your feelings, you just such emotional person, man, you might want to tune in to Joel Osteen.